Hey guys, so in this tutorial I am going to be showing you how I would go about updating an announcement bar for one of my Shopify clients. So here we're gonna start with a blank document. I've already created a backup for the announcement bar, so we're gonna use some of the code from before. I'm copying and pasting that code into this document and we're just gonna make some adjustments. The first thing I'm going to do is copy this announcement statement, and we're going to turn it into a next-gen announcement. Then I'm going to copy the code from above because we're going to use the previous announcement bar as a template. Gonna remove some stuff because we don't need them. We're going to remove this arrow. I'm also gonna remove this escape. We aren't going to need it. Then I'm going to add a span in here just to wrap this p tag. Then we're gonna remove this h5 and block settings text alignment from the class. We're not gonna need that. Then we're gonna move this page with div above the if statement because we want it to wrap everything. Then we add announcement inner to it. That's our own unique class. Then we close the page. Next we're going to add underscore to this. Then we're going to add a comment just to label this section that we are above as 1. Then we're gonna adjust the naming of this block.settings as well, align everything and indent it properly. Then I'm going to copy and paste this text twice, so we're gonna have 3 texts that the client can input. Just gonna rename these here from text 1 to text 2 and so forth. Next we're gonna add some stylings. I've already written those out. I'm just going to paste it in. All of this is just regular CSS with some Shopify Liquid sprinkled in. Now we are going to create the next-gen announcement section block. We are going to copy and paste the name, then go down to the schema tag. Here in the schema, we already have that default announcement. We are going to create our own block. This is going to be in the block section. It is going to be of block type, next-gen announcement. I'm just going to copy and paste the settings here for the next-gen announcement block. And let's go through it. So here we have the settings. The first we have inline rich text. This is going to be the first text that is available for the user to type in. We have it as an ID text 1, and its default is free shipping with a label of text 1. Next we have another. Next we have a range. This is what we're going to use to set the amount of stars for that second text element, and the ID is going to be star amount. It's going to have a minimum of 0 and a max of 5 and steps of 1. That's gonna also have a unit of STR, the short for stars. You can't use more than 3 characters in that unit. The label is amount of stars. Here we're going to have the star color with an ID star underscore color. Then down here we're gonna have just another inline rich text. Here is just something that came default with this announcement bar. It's the color scheme, and that's gonna set the color scheme for the user. So let's just close this and move on. So here we have the default announcement and our next-gen announcement. Now we're going to create a capture tag to place the stars in. The capture tag is just going to allow you to place whatever you want in it. Liquid code, HTML code, etc. So we can use it later. I'm going to be using an SVG HTML code. Here we are setting the fill color of the stars. This is how we access that block settings. It's going from block then settings then that star color. Star color is the ID that we had set in the schema tag below. So at the top here, we are looping through the section blocks, and then for each block we are checking the block type using the case tag. When the block type is announcement, the code below the when case equals announcement will run, and the same with next-gen announcement. So the current for loop goes over each block, then passes the block info to variables like block.settings.starColor. Here we set the star color to number 000000, which is the color black by default, and then we use it as the fill color for the star SVG. To use a capture variable, all we have to do is type the name of the variable in 2 curly brackets. I'm going to add a span so we can place those stars within it. I'm going to give it a class of announcement stars. Then we're going to need to create a for loop to loop through and create those stars. Instead of retyping or reinserting that SVG over again, we can just do a for loop so it will do it as many times as necessary. So, for I in 1 ... block.settings.starAmount, then end for. In this for loop it's using the variable I, and then it's going to go within a certain amount. In this case, we're going from 1 to whatever the block.settings.starAmount is. So if the block.settings.starAmount were 3, it would go 1, 2, and 3. We are just going to put the capture variable that we created within the for loop, and each time it's going to loop through and insert that variable for us. We have the star amount as 5 by default, so the loop will run 5 times and insert 5 SVG stars. The last thing that we need to do is create the settings for text, transform uppercase to make the text uppercase, and also the settings to make the text bold. In this part, you have to use section.settings.uppercase in order to access that section variable, as opposed to the block variables we created earlier. Let's set section settings to our section. Square brackets to create an array to hold the settings. Within those square brackets is where we would put our settings. In this case, the first one we need is uppercase. Here we add a setting of type checkbox. That's going to make it true or false, an ID of uppercase, label of uppercase text, and a default of true. So here we're going to do section.settings.uppercase, and if it's true, then this text transform uppercase would be added to that CSS. Next, we're gonna add in a checkbox to make the text bold. Here we have it again as type checkbox, ID bold, label bold text, and for this one, we're gonna put the default as false. So here in the CSS it says, if the section.settings.bold is true, then it's going to set the font family to a heading variable. This one is like this to be in alignment with this site's design. So again here we have section settings and block settings. So that would be everything. All we have to do now is click save and check out our new announcement bar. Go to Customize Theme to check out the announcement bar. So here we are in the customizer up top. Here we have our announcement bar. Here's the default announcement bar that we're replacing. Not going to need this right now. Just turn on ours and here you can see our announcement bar. If you want to add our announcement bar, you go to Edit Block and you'll be able to see that option. Now we have the different text we can enter here. We have free shipping and we can make that bold or even italic. Next we have the second text. This is set as a link. Right, so these are the amount of stars that are added. We can change it here and it would change in our header. If set to 0, the stars would be completely removed. We can also edit the star color from red, even to white. Let's set it back to black. Here we have another text that the user can add. We'll just highlight it so we can add a link to it. Just go click into it pages and add it. For example, contact. I'm just gonna save it here and then that would turn it into a link and it goes directly to contact. If you hover over here, you'd see contact show up. Works well on mobile. It's responsive. The text will wrap so everything fits on the screen. The user can see everything. Nothing goes over. We can also remove the stars. Here you see everything is aligned. If we go back and click announcement bar, this is where we get the section settings. Here's where the uppercase text is and the bold text. This makes it uppercase for everything, and we can also make it bold for everything. Now going back and coming out of the section settings, we're going back into the block settings. In the block settings, we can add in back our stars and do all the adjustments needed. Here we can see it's also good at full screen. And that's it. That's how you create your own custom announcement bar in Shopify.